The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Everybody is moving to the Wairarapa, excepting Alistair Scott, their local MP. I went down the main street of Masterton and I asked 10 Wairarapans, I said to them, who's your local MP? 9 couldn't tell me, and the 10th one was his branch chairman. Now, Mr. Speaker, Will Rogers once said, I don't make jokes, I just watch the government and I report the facts. And the effective takeover of Silver Fern Farms proves it. We know Silver Fern Farms tried to meet the Minister of Finance months ago, but he was too busy to meet with our largest meat exporter. If you won't meet them, if you won't see them, what guarantees do Fonterra have in their hour of need? What's for certain is that this supposed bent Chinese deal for Silver Fern Farms needs the sunlight of investigation. The apologists would have us believe that Silver Fern was a financial train wreck, but on Monday, only 3 weeks after its board recommended a half fire sale to the Chinese, Silver Fern Farms announced a 28% surge in operating profit to $86 million. This was off the revenues for New Zealand of $2.45 billion, and it slashed debt down from $288 million to $120, and by end June next year will be down to $89 million. Now, the farmers were told they were going to get $261 million because they were led to believe all that by soothing words. They've been conned by a board that should have resigned and by Goldman Sachs' questionable legal chicanery. Shanghai Meiling, this Chinese SOE, is getting the corporate heist of the century. It's only paying $57 million for half of Silver Fern Farms, with $40 million for the shareholders, $70 million retained by the co-op, and a very fishy $7 million earmarked for future co-op directors' costs. This smells. There's another name for this, and it's called a golden parachute for corporate quislings. And what do the Chinese get in return? Why? Control of everything from the Silver Fern's assets to intellectual property, including taxpayer-funded research and development. All of it gets poured into a new company called Silver Fern Farms Limited. In this company, the co-op and Shanghai Meiling may have 5 board seats apiece, but Shanghai Meiling gets to appoint the chairman, holding the casting vote on matters that deliver complete control of the company to the Chinese government. Things like appointing the CEO, setting the budget, business planning, and the timing and amounts of dividends. All those 5 things are in the control of the Chinese. And that also includes control over the much-touted $261 million, meaning it is in reality just an internal transfer of funds from one Chinese government control agency to another. And if Chinese control affects stock procurement policy, leads to plant closures or moves value-added processing to China, there is nothing the co-op half-owner can do anything about. What on earth is provincial National Party MP representation doing? Why nothing? They don't want to know. They just don't want to know. This deal is rotten, and a lot of National Party people are saying so, and a lot of intelligent farmers are saying so as well. Now they say, oh, you can go and supply Alliance Group. Ah, yes? If there's a price war, guess who's going to win? And it won't be Alliance Group. There's also a certain issue about Shanghai Meiling's overseas person status, something well outlined in the National Business Review by lawyer and Silver Fern farm supplier David Boswell. When it comes to certain transactions, it will need Overseas Investment Office approval, telegraphing the fact that Silver Fern Farms is not 100% pure New Zealand. Aside from China having a backdoor into Mr Key's much-vaunted Trans-Tasman or Trans-Pacific partnership, a deal you House Republicans now say will not be signed in 2016, our farmers end up exposed to whatever China does domestically and internationally. You couldn't see a worse deal. And we're caught now, should the Spratly Islands, for example, or pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong explode, we find ourselves in a diplomatic straitjacket, typically taken there by somebody from Merrill Lynch who knows nothing about international circumstances or foreign policy for that matter. In any crisis, Silver Fern Farms profits goes to a Chinese SOE, and it doesn't sit well with the United States, the biggest importer of our beef. But perhaps the biggest concern is the way that the Takeovers Act and Code are being sidestepped almost as expertly as Nehi Milner Skudder.